Hey guys, so you ready for today's September 24th, 2023, 3:11 a.m. Central Time. Hey, that's a good band, 3:11 for anyone who's interested. Old band. Anyway, this illegal immigration that is causing a ruckus in some of these blue states, and quite to be honest with you, around the country, it's just not as concentrated, okay, in some of these areas or well reported on. Anyway, in the past week, there have been like 40,000 illegals, mostly from Venezuela, coming across our border at Eagle Pass, Texas. The images have been crazy. They're riding the Beast, which is a train. They have dubbed it the Beast. And I've known about the Beast for years because I was an Arizona resident for a very, very long time. Grew up there. And every time the Beast would come through towards about this time of year or even in the beginning of the year, there'd be a shitload of people on it. But different administrations weren't nearly as bad as this administration. So a lot of people wouldn't get in, but there'd be a lot of people during that time period starting to run through the desert that I would start seeing because I was close to the desert and reservations and stuff. Anyway, so the Beast is carrying hundreds of people this way. They haven't even hit our borders yet. Or I should say even our shore, since they're swimming across the Rio Grande. It's nuts. And 3 people have supposedly, only 3, have drowned this week trying to cross there. But they had to cut the razor wire, the Border Patrol did, that Texas DPS, I believe is what they call them, put out as a deterrent. They had to cut the razor wire to let these illegals through. That was like a huge 40, 50 group of people because they were going to die in the heat and everything else and were having heat stroke. And they have been interviewing some of these people, and they have been on this travel for over 2 months. So this should have been seen coming a long time ago, not just because of their like tracking them, but I mean, these people are going through other countries to get to us, specifically Mexico. So we should have been warned about this stuff. For all I know, we have been. So anyway, besides the point, the reason I'm doing this video is to kind of put this thought into everyone's heads. First of all, the White House is now blaming the GOP for the border, and Trump, by the way, for the border. Yeah, the guy who did the Remain in Mexico, did the triangle situation with the Latin American countries, had a deal with these people, had troops from those countries blocking people from coming up here, and built a wall. Didn't finish, but built a wall, obviously are the people to blame, especially since, I don't know, I thought, according to the White House and Press Secretary Retard, that the border was secure. I thought Mayorkas has said over and over again in committees, our border is secure. Our border is not open. When all of a sudden in September of 2023, it will be worse, 2024. In 2023, all of a sudden it's the GOP's problem, and they did it. Yeah, okay. If the GOP shuts down the government, it's just going to get, this blame game is going to get 100% worse, because it's going to stop getting Border Patrol checks, okay? Anyway, I wanted to put this thought into your guys' head. This year alone, okay, this number is usually under 1,000 every year. We're talking about like a couple hundred here and there. 18,000 Chinese illegals have crossed our border this year in 2023. Those are the ones we know about. We've hit a record in August for over 200, I think it's like 275,000 illegals crossing our border. So we're on track for a wonderful 2 million plus for this year, I believe. Don't quote those numbers, but it's up there. And 18,000 Chinese have been among them. Mostly adult males of serving age. With that being said, we are looking at a war, depending upon how this administration handles it, if and when it comes along. And to be honest, if I was China, now is the time. I mean, if they wait for another administration, they're stupid. Like, even if this jackass got back into office, that's like a big, question mark in the air. The Chinese would be wise to invade Taiwan now, in my opinion. While we have such a weak retard, handicapped Alzheimer patient that is apparently concerned. He's no joke. Apparently, there has been talk about him saying to confidants that he's worried he's gonna croak before Hunter's shit is done in the courts, because he's obviously going to pardon him. He's actually concerned about that. That's what James heard. I personally have not heard that, but that's nuts if that's true. Anyway. So China is going to eventually here invade Taiwan in one way or another. They've been practicing. They've not only on their shores, they've been doing drills. They've been doing drills around Taiwan, over Taiwan. I mean, it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. So what do you think these 18,000 Chinese illegals are going to do in this country when that happens? When we go to war, likely, if that happens, if they invade Taiwan, what do you think is going to happen to those 18,000 Chinese illegals in this country? Truly. Do you think they're going to be sitting back saying, oh, thank the Lord? They wouldn't say Lord, but, oh, thank God. We are in the United States of America, and we are not at China, and we are not going to war. No, these people are going to be going to war here. They're going to pop up and start causing problems in so many different ways, from cyber attacks to showing up at our bases. God knows what these people are going to be doing. I mean, the sabotage that they could create is unfathomable, and so many different, like, I can't even think of how many different ways they do it, because it depends on what they brought here with them too. But with that Chinese spy balloon that crossed over this country and went over our naval bases, which, by the way, our military bases, there's a base here in Missouri that little piece of shit went over that has our bombers at, and the base in Montana and a few others on its way out to the ocean, where it was taken down way too late. So they've already gotten all kinds of intelligence. The CCP has already gotten all that intelligence and has figured out a lot of things by that stupid ass balloon, and God knows if there's any other ones above us, to relay it to these people on the ground. It's ridiculous. Chinese illegals are, okay, let's put it this way. Every Chinese person that comes in this country has one of two things going for them. One, they want away from China and away from CCP, and they become citizens and they assimilate and they are proud to be here and they are Americans and they get their papers. The other Chinese that are here are not going to assimilate. They are part of the CCP. We have a police station in New York City that was found out that was arresting Chinese people for the CCP. How the hell did a Chinese police station show up in this country? And I guarantee that's not the only one. So these people are going to be working on behalf of these people, and it's very difficult. I had a friend who was Chinese that came over here. It was very difficult for them to kind of assimilate to not having Big Brother in their fucking face all the time, and in that sense, but they had cut ties. But I'd spoken to them, and it's like, any company you work for over there, if you get a paycheck over there, period, if you're not in a some sort of camp making God knows what iPhones, if you're actually there and doing business, you literally have to report to the Chinese all kinds of stuff. If you're getting any type of paycheck, you basically are owned by the CCP. And they had a very difficult time kind of getting out of that. They almost changed their name and stuff. Surprised they didn't. And maybe they did. I don't know. But beside the point, so all these people, these 18,000 Chinese illegals, regardless of anything, they are still part of the CCP because they are illegals. They are not in this country legally. They are not going to be doing any asylum claims. How can you claim asylum from the Chinese? Honestly. Oh, they're a dictatorship. Oh, they do this, they do that. Okay, that's nice. Are you Muslim? Are you a Uyghur? Like, those are the only two people I can think of that would have a legitimate asylum claim here from China, because you're going to be put in a concentration camp or some shit. Other than that, if you're just a Chinese national, I'm sorry, but living in China, yeah, probably blows. Under a dictatorship, probably sucks. But that's not a genuine asylum claim. And they, Robert Kennedy went down to the border, the Democrat who's running against Biden, went down to the border and spoke to, like, I think he said 300 people that were crossing the border that day. And it was like within the last month or so. And he said every single one of them, besides like 5 or 2 or 3, I don't remember, it was a handful of people, said that they were coming here to work. And the other ones that he said that were the handful said they were coming here for asylum claims. And he said they were legitimate. But every single one of them said that they were here to work. And now this asshole in the White House is sending out a signal to Venezuelans that, hey, come on up, because we're going to give you a automatic work pass, work visa to come work here. You know who said that recently? Besides Hochul and the idiot mayor from New York City. What was his name? Don't care. Mayor Adams. You know who said that recently on a press conference on New York streets? AOC. I thought that was interesting because Hochul and Adams have been calling for that situation for quite a while, since that city has been overrun. But all of a sudden, AOC has a press conference in the last week saying she wants all these Venezuelans and these illegals to have work visas so they can work here and contribute to society. And all of a sudden, the Biden administration does it. Isn't that interesting? We're starting to get some more closer, put the dots together a little closer as to who's running this administration. And I did not think AOC would have all that much pull, but obviously she has a little bit of pull somewhere when she's the one who recently said it, and these two idiots have been saying it for a while, and then poof, this motherfucker does it in the White House. I don't even think it's legal for him to do that. The fucking Dreamers and whatever the one for the parents was, the program, were both deemed unconstitutional. Unconstitutional. And they fell apart. Since when can you give a bunch of work visas to 500,000 people via the White House? Some executive order or proclamation, or however he's choosing to do this. Or if he's doing it through some sort of department through the Federal Register, I have no idea. I have not seen how this is going to be done yet. But since when is that legal? That should be absolutely thrown into SCOTUS. But then that comes in a price to pay politically if you do that. So it's like you really can't win when it comes to immigration. But I would definitely say I am right most of the time regarding everything, which is kind of annoying, and James knows that too, and I'm sure it annoys him a little bit too. But I'm often right about things I don't want to be right about, and I have a feeling I'm right about these Chinese illegals that came into this country and are sitting here. If we get into a conflict with China, these people are going to become a problem. I don't know how, I don't know where, and I don't know what they're going to be doing, but they're going to be a goddamn problem for all of us. This is Are You Ready For It? Take care, guys. Have a great morning.